Hi, I'm Angela Pentner-Smith, Managing Director of This Is Milk and founder of Neve Learning, and this is another episode of Angela's Talks. This one is self-labeling around neurodiversity, yay or nay. So, this is a contentious issue. If you have not been officially diagnosed with a condition or a neurodivergence such as dyslexia, ADHD, autism, or dyspraxia, which is my own diagnosed identification, can you self-label, and is that okay? Now, not everybody will agree with my view, but that's all I can share with you is my opinion on this. I view diagnosis as a bit of a privilege. There are a certain set of circumstances that had to happen in my life that meant that I got a diagnosis as a dyspraxic person. That happened in my late 20s, and at that point I was doing a master's degree at the Glasgow School of Art. So I had already had quite a lot of privilege to get me to the stage that I was even in a master's program, and had overcome a lot of the challenges from my own background and my own dyspraxia that meant that I got that diagnosis. So I view diagnosis as a privileged set of circumstances. And even once somebody has gone through the process of going, wait a minute, actually, ADHD sounds like me, it is a really uphill battle for somebody to get an official diagnosis. And many medical practitioners, if you go to them as an adult and you say, I think I have ADHD, their response will likely be something like, yeah, but do you really need treatment for it? This is a long process. And in parts of the UK, there's a waiting list, even from a private perspective, of months to years to get that diagnosis. Then there are situations with children where the diagnostic criteria is limiting and doesn't take into account the fact that kids can mask, that they're not the same in all situations. That means that they don't get the diagnosis even when it is evident. I had a private psychologist that had 25 years experience diagnosing ADHD look me in the eyes and tell me, I am so sorry, Angela, I can't give your son an ADHD diagnosis, even though I know he has ADHD, because the school won't give me evidence. So there are so many things that somebody has to overcome to actually obtain that medical diagnosis. Some of it even being you have to have paperwork from when you were a child to prove that you were scatterbrained or inattentive. Like, see, if you have ADHD, your parents probably had ADHD and nobody has kept your paperwork from being a child. So the processes and the systems around this are so flawed and so exclusive and just a set of nonsense that I don't see how we can stop people identifying however they want to in terms of neurodiversity. The community, to my mind, shouldn't be about excluding people, and it shouldn't be like a two-tiered. It shouldn't be a case of, these people are real neurodivergents and these aren't, just because they've had a particular set of circumstances that meant that they had a diagnosis. Layer on top of that more people with neurodivergence actually meet the diagnostic criteria for 2 or 3 neurodivergent conditions than one, but most people do not actually get that full diagnostic assessment. For example, I was assessed for dyspraxia and dyslexia, and even though something between 50 and 80% of people with autism also have dyspraxia, and 50% of people with dyspraxia also meet diagnostic criteria for ADHD. There is no then-on referral for ADHD and autism. It's done by different people. So I have now been on this kind of rabbit hole of neurodiversity and have done an awful lot of research myself. And I can now say with confidence, having read what I've read, by today's standards, I would be considered an autistic child. That means I'm an autistic adult, but on a day-to-day basis, do I find those challenges hold me back? No, I don't. I learned social skills in my 20s. I was really late coming with that. And of course, what this doesn't take into account as well is that our brains are plastic and we do learn. The foods we eat, the environment we're in, the exercise we do, it all relates to our brains. They aren't fixed entities. I can drive a car. There are things I've learned. There's things I've got better at. It's a little bit like somebody with dyslexia. It doesn't mean that they'll never learn how to read. They will always have a dyslexic brain. So to my mind, we have to allow the opportunity for people to self-label. And if we're okay with people labeling themselves with whatever gender they want, or, other labels in society, I really don't see why we can be so precious about terms like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, and dyspraxia, particularly when this school of thought is moving at such a rapid pace and the systems that allow for those diagnoses aren't fast enough. So that's been Angela Talks. And if you do like what I say, if you could please give us a like and a follow and subscribe so that I know to keep having these conversations.